It all started with my Wi-Fi slowing down. Yeah, I know sounds trivial, right? But when you work from home, the internet is life. It's like having the power to a spaceship, or, okay, maybe not that dramatic, but you get it. I'm talking about my daily grind being built on a fast connection. So when it started crawling like a snail stuck in molasses, something had to be wrong. Turns out the problem wasn't just a weak signal. Oh no, it was worse. Much worse. I found out that half the neighborhood was riding on my Wi-Fi like it was a community service. I'm talking Brenda's iPad, Kevin's gaming PC, even the Smith family TV. I had become the neighborhood's unofficial internet provider. I thought about yelling, but honestly, I didn't want to start a war. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I reset the router, created a ridiculously complex password, and figured that'd be the end of it. That was until the very next morning when I was in the middle of a work meeting, typing away like a responsible adult, when suddenly I heard it. A pounding, no, a battering ram at my front door. My brain didn't register it at first. Who knocks that hard on a door? Well, apparently Karen does. The self-declared queen of the Homeowners Association, HOA. Her face was flushed perm, practically buzzing with fury. And she wasn't knocking, she was attacking the door. I hesitated, but eventually cracked the door open. Before I could even greet her, she went off. What did you do to the internet? My grandkids can't watch their shows. I have important emails to send. You can't just turn off the community Wi-Fi. What in the actual world? My jaw hit the floor. I calmly explained that it was my internet, that I paid for it, and I had every right to change my password. She stared at me and then, get this, puffed out her chest and said, I'm the HOA president. Everything in this neighborhood is my business. You're selfishly hoarding the internet. I tried showing her my internet bill, my name, my address, everything. But she wasn't having it. She wasn't even listening. Then came the big threat. With a flourish, she whipped out her phone and screamed, I'm calling the cops. You're stealing community resources. I thought she was bluffing. Like, who calls 911 over a Wi-Fi password? Oh, you better believe Karen does. She dialed 911 and started going off about utility theft and public disturbance. I just stood there flabbergasted as she gave the operator my address. And then, just to add a cherry on top of this circus, she gave me a smug little look and said, they're on their way. We'll see who's right. About 15 minutes later, 2 police cars pulled up. My heart sank. The neighbors were already peeking through their windows. I could feel my cheeks burning with embarrassment. The officers stepped out looking confused. One was a man, Officer Miller, and the other was Officer Davis, a woman with a no-nonsense vibe. Karen was already in full drama mode, pointing at me like I was some criminal mastermind. She told them I'd maliciously cut off the neighborhood's internet and hoarded it all for myself. I calmly told my side, it's my Wi-Fi. I found unauthorized users, so I secured the network. I even offered to show them the bill again. Officer Davis looked at Karen and asked, do you pay for this internet service? She sputtered. Well, no, but it's always been available. It's a community service. Officer Miller, his voice now more patient than it should have been, replied, ma'am, that's not how it works. You can't just use someone else's Wi-Fi. That's illegal. And he added, and calling 911 for this serious misuse of emergency services. I thought that was it. Karen would get a warning, I'd go back to my meeting and life would continue, but no. Just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, Officer Davis noticed something. She was looking at Karen's yard, specifically at the large fountain Karen was always bragging about. But then her eyes narrowed. There was a thick black cable running from the fountain, snaking along the side of Karen's house, heading straight toward a public utility box on the street. Oh, and that's when things got interesting. Officer Davis pointed and said, this is clearly an illegal electrical hookup. Karen's face went from an angry red to ghostly white in 1 second flat. She stammered, oh, that's just some old wiring for the garden lights. But her voice cracked and she couldn't even meet the officer's gaze. The officers weren't buying it. They walked over, took a closer look, and sure enough, it was a homemade electrical connection tapping into the city's power grid. Karen had been stealing electricity for years to power her massive fountain. Officer Miller's entire demeanor shifted. Ma'am, he said, you're stealing power from the city. This isn't about your Wi-Fi. This is felony theft of utilities. She started shaking, offering weak excuses about her husband setting it up years ago, but it was clear she was lying. And the irony, she'd just called the cops on me for using her internet, and here she was stealing power from the city. It was like the universe was laughing in her face. The officers told her they'd have to report the theft to the power company, and she'd face major fines and criminal charges. That smug look on her face? Gone. Replaced with fear. And here's where it gets real good. She turned to me and with desperation in her voice said, "Please just tell them it's a misunderstanding. I'll get my own internet, I promise. Just don't let them do this." Me, the person she'd tried to get arrested over a Wi-Fi password, I just shook my head. "Karen," I said, "you called them. You wanted to see who's right. Well, looks like we found out." The officers took her information, snapped a few photos of the illegal wiring, and told her to expect a visit from the power company's investigation team. As they were leaving, Officer Miller nodded to me, "Sorry for the disturbance. Have a good day." And just like that, they were gone. The next day, a crew from the power company showed up at Karen's house. They spent hours disconnecting her illegal setup and installing a proper meter. And the fountain, it's been off ever since. Word spread fast in the neighborhood, and Karen's reign as HOA president came to a crashing halt. She had to step down, and now whenever we cross paths, she can't even look me in the eye. As for me, my internet has never been faster. Funny how things work out, huh? Sometimes when you try to create problems for someone else, you end up exposing your own much bigger mess. So here's the takeaway. Sometimes it's the smallest thing. A Wi-Fi password triggering the biggest chain of events. Think you know someone? Wait until you see what they're really hiding. Oh, and by the way, do you think Karen got what she deserved? Or should I have given her a break? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about justice, revenge, and when karma finally catches up with people. And hey, if you've got your own crazy neighbor stories, share those too. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.